Germany. Process to recognize Palestine state must begin now. Even they got Germany speaking out.
Germany says the process to recognize a Palestinian state must begin now. Berlin adding that Israel is increasingly in the minority over the issue of Palestine. The move comes just hours after Canada said it planned on recognizing the state of Palestine at the UN General Assembly in September. For more, we can go across to Nick Holsworth standing by in Berlin. Nick, good afternoon. Just how significant is what's coming out of Germany today?
Germany is the last bastion of Israel defense. So it is fairly significant when you got, it's like America number 1, Germany number 2, Israel number 3 in terms of defending Israel. So when you got even Germany being like, oh, we are going to move to this state recognition, yeah, that's fairly significant. I will say, that is not an insignificant move. Okay, that's shocking. I mean, even though, let's be real, and I've talked about this already, all of these statehood recognitions are coming with a shit ton of qualifiers, and they're actually not moving the needle as hard as it's supposed to, and it's pretty messed up overall. But I think it implies that the environment has changed quite a bit. On the one hand, I'm wary because it is a PR stunt. I don't trust Western nations at all. But on the other hand, I do think that the permission structure has shifted so dramatically that these guys are engaging in this to appease the masses, to appease the discontent that they are experiencing, and they have to respond. America doesn't, because America's not a democracy, and America has a fuck you gonna do about it kind of attitude, right? Whereas like European liberal democracies at least symbolically have to defend democracy and liberal values. So I think that they're just trying to find an outlet where they could just be like, yeah, we are also responding to the increasing public pressure that is mounted against us due to this Israel stuff by saying we'll offer state recognition with these incredible conditions, of course, which renders the state recognition useless. Because a lot of the Palestinian state recognition actually comes from like these ridiculous qualifiers. Hey, Sean the Black, thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good stream, brother. Where a lot of the state recognition qualifiers are demilitarized Palestinian state, run by the Palestinian Authority, which is incredibly unpopular in the eyes of the Palestinians. It's not a real democratic process at all. The Palestinian Authority is a de facto arm of the Israeli security apparatus. It is the second least popular entity in the region in the eyes of the Palestinians, after Israel, of course. And also the idea that they are supposed to be demilitarized makes the process of full-blown ethnic cleansing imminent. It basically says no longer can Israel do full-blown ethnic cleansing right now in the Gaza Strip, but they can continue doing the same process that they've taken place through a sequence of checkpoints, annexation, land grabs, pogroms that they've engaged in the West Bank. That's basically what they're saying, which is Israel's goal ultimately. I mean, how can anyone avoid or deny the reality that Israel's goal is the greater Israeli project at this point? You can't. You can't deny it. It's undeniable. That's precisely the reason why they're even making this inference, making this state recognition known, right? Why? Because Israel's ethnic cleansing campaign has gotten so unimaginably horrible that it has created this massive amount of public pressure that politicians have to respond to at this point. It's become unavoidable. Like I said, you have to become undeniable. You have to become unavoidable. If you want to let your voice be heard, if you want change to happen in the Western world, you just have to keep up the pressure. And all of a sudden, all that pressure amounts to state recognition with like these conditions. It's not enough. You have to keep pushing.
Jerusalem now, France 24's Noga Tarnopolsky is standing by. Noga, this is a bombshell shift in tone from Germany, and it follows similar statements from other G7 states. Has there been any reaction?
There's been vicious reaction from Israel. The first country to make this announcement was France, and Israel responded via the Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister by accusing President Macron of being a collaborator with Hamas terror, no less, of rewarding murderous Hamas terror by recognizing a Palestinian state. And clearly this is part of a well-coordinated diplomatic tsunami plan to pressure Israel.
Everyone is Hamas. I mean, of course, Israel is Hamas. Who isn't Hamas at this point? You know, Germany is Hamas. Germany saying this is so funny. Whatever. Benjamin Netanyahu is going to come out and be like, this is the most anti-Semitic thing that Germany has ever done in its long history. Nothing is more anti-Semitic than the recognition of a Palestinian state. Nothing. I repeat, this is far outdoing the Holocaust in magnitude. Conditional state recognition is worse than the Holocaust, is what we will hear. Oh my God. 80 years after the Holocaust, and Germany is returning to support Nazism. I mean, it's not as bad. This is not as bad as I was joking about. What I'm joking about is like someone saying this is worse than the Holocaust, okay? He's not saying that. He's saying this is the equivalent of the Holocaust. Oh, Jesus Christ. Not letting Israel do the Holocaust is basically one Holocaust, okay? That's crazy. It never stopped. As I have argued before, Germany supports Netanyahu for the same reason it birthed Hitler. Both promise to be Western bulwarks against the Untermensch, the rebellious subhumans who dared to threaten empire. I mean, it's true. Bro, Israel literally invited members of the AfD, Alternative for Deutschland, to the anti-Semitism conference, okay? They do not care about actual neo-Nazis. They love actual neo-Nazis. The only thing they care about is when people say, hey, you should stop doing a Holocaust. That's when they go, this is the most anti-Semitic thing anyone has ever said. You are basically, you denying me the right to literally do a live stream Holocaust is basically one Holocaust, okay? That's what it is. Yeah, they had to cancel the anti-Semitism conference in Israel because they invited too many anti-Semitic white supremacists, okay? That is what we're talking about here. They have no leg to stand on. It's just ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It's totally and utterly ridiculous. It's like when people go, oh, dude, you know what's really problematic? Not me being racist, you calling out my racism. That's what's pissing me off. That's the real issue here. It's like, no, I think it was the original racism that's the real issue. Bro, it turns out, even by European standards, okay, after centuries of death, destruction, extraction of natural resources from the global south, slavery, even with all the bounties of colonial empire, even the Europeans have like a distaste for maximum death and destruction. Like doing a 13th century style siege on a captive population that has fucking iPhones and can literally elevate the problem directly to the doorstep of every single person in the Western world is untenable. Who would have thought? Okay. It turns out, regardless of the multi-billion-dollar influence peddling operation and advocacy groups that you have cultivated over a long period of time, over multiple decades, in an effort to align so perfectly with Western foreign policy in this resource-rich region, there is only so much death and destruction that even the most racist, Islamophobic people will allow, okay? We are there. We are there. There is no starvation of children that is appropriate in the eyes of the Western world, so much so that even liberal politicians in America have to respond to this and be like, okay, I don't know how we got here, but oops, we can't do this any longer, okay? That's it. Like, I thought, and I say this as someone who constantly talks about how fucking depraved we are here in the West, right? In the comfort of our homes. But I thought even this would have been packed up a long time ago. I thought that there was only so much death and destruction that people would be on board with. I literally thought, the entirety of the hospital system collapsing in the Gaza Strip was enough. I thought it should have been enough. This should have ended a year ago. This should have been ended a year ago with prosecutions coming in instantly. It is crazy that there is still people holding out hope that, you can complete the ethnic cleansing. You can complete the ethnic cleansing campaign. It's crazy. The attitude shift is so dramatic. I'm telling you right now, people, even liberal Zionists, are going to point to guys like that and basically be like, oh, they're just like extremists. They don't represent us, okay? It's coming. It's coming because the association of Judaism with Israel only worked as a defensive posture when everybody thought Israel is awesome. now that everybody knows Israel is not awesome at all, oh my God, everything that Israel now represents is no longer like the pharmaceutical industry and like making the desert bloom and being the most gay moral democracy in the fucking region or whatever. And instead, ethnic cleansing and the starvation of children for some kind of like loose association with religion that is a false conflation to begin with. Now that is the only thing that Israel is known for, understandably, I think Jews in the Western world are probably going to forcibly separate themselves from this association and actually look negatively upon this association in the future. Now, not yet, and there are still plenty of people who personally hang on to this notion that you can continue defending it. Okay, you can continue defending Israel. You can continue defending Israel. You can keep going back to the old tricks and be like, look at the enemies of Israel. They're all barbaric. They're monsters. They're monsters. They're monsters. But I don't think it's going to continue. I think for the average person, they have completely checked out. Okay, they've checked out. Not gonna lie, you do more work defending the rights of Muslims in the West than any actual Muslim speakers out here. And yes, because they're fucking bought and sold. Okay. Also, what do you mean actual Muslim? Listen, regardless of my lack of regardless of me being a bad Muslim, okay, it doesn't matter. My name is Hassan, so they don't let me get away with that. They don't go, yeah, this guy's not a real one, okay?
And Noga, I'm just curious, what are ordinary Israelis saying about this shift in tone that's coming from right around the world? Do they feel alone now?
I think Israel.
Do they feel alone now? I mean, dude, I don't think shit. Israeli society broadly thinks about these sorts of things any longer. I think they have found a perfect thought terminating cycle here where they just go, oh, it's anti-Semitism. Okay. It's such a powerful motivator because anti-Semitism has been a fucking blight for thousands of years, and anti-Semitism still certainly exists. Okay. So because of that reason, I think it's even more powerful than when white Christians in America talk about white Christian persecution, okay? Because there is a validity to the marginalization. That is the reason why I think it is virtually impossible to get people in Israel to understand why they are being considered as a fucking pariah state. Having said that, however, just as though white Afrikaners started slowly but surely coming to that recognition that they had become a pariah due to their apartheid, I think a lot of Israelis will eventually say, hey, we got to fucking stop this. Like, this is crazy. And if they don't, it's done. Even if they do, it's done. Zionism as a project is, in my opinion, over. It's been over. This is the death knell of Zionism as a project.